We are live. Welcome. Welcome and happy Friday to everybody. This is Kat's Home Chat live with Tada Next Level Staging and Design. And I hope you like my red. And anybody who knows me, tell me what you think about my new glasses. I decided a couple years ago when I couldn't wear contacts that if I'm going to wear glasses, they need to be an extension of my fashionability, my fashionista blood. So I hope you like them. I kind of like them. They're kind of fun, right? So welcome to our 22nd episode. We're so excited to come to you live today. And I wanted to really do up, with the red sweater and the wreath in the background, et cetera. Christmas is coming soon, isn't it? It is. Sooner than we think. It's just like whizzes by, which reminds us, we really need to live in the very moment because it's celebrating and being joyful every day and every moment, not just on the day. That's what we really need to remember. But Christmas is coming soon. And our first topic with our esteemed guest, Debbie Donohue, who I'm going to bring on in a second here, is going to talk about three topics we're going to have a discussion on. But the first one is, have you ever wondered really what's behind the message in a sign that says coming soon? I'm interested to hear this because I think she's got some stuff up her sleeve that I probably didn't know, even as, a professional in real estate and staging. Our second topic is going to be the value of working with a full-time agent. And really and truly, as I told Debbie in the pre-discussion, there's a value of working with a full-time professional in any, whether it's staging, real estate, et cetera. And we're going to dive into some of those things that you might want to think about. Maybe they're important to you, maybe they're not, but we're here to educate, we're here to share. The third topic is, and this is really close to my heart because I spent about a decade, in new home sales. And that is, did you know if you buy a new home that there are some perks and benefits, monetarily and otherwise, in working with a realtor on the buying side? I'll bet you didn't. I'll bet many of you did not. I educate people on this all the time. And we're going to share some secrets with you on how you can benefit from working with a realtor in buying and or building either a spec home or building it from the ground up. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on my guest, a seasoned realtor and broker, Debbie Donohue. Debbie.
Hi, how are you today?
Great. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me today. This is a busy time of year, and yes, Christmas is coming soon. But life goes on, and we're here to share. And I love the topics that you selected, Debbie.
Thank you.
Yeah. So before we get into the first topic, which is what's behind the coming soon sign, can you share with folks a little whatever you'd like to share in terms of how you got into real estate, now a broker, and even something personal about yourself?
Sure. So I moved to Houston in 1989 and was using a good friend as a realtor, and I was sending her a lot of referrals. And my friend said, I could give you referral fees if you'd get your license. And I thought, oh, that sounded good. And I was a teacher at the time. And so I got my license.
You were what, a teacher?
I was a teacher. I was a teacher.
What grade?
Special education.
Oh, I know that about you. Bless your heart. There's a special place in heaven for special ed teachers. Yeah.
Thank you. So I got my license so I could give her referral fees. And then I thought that looked like a good job. So I started selling real estate in 1991 and worked for a couple of smaller companies, and then went to Remax. I was there for about 12 years. And then a few years ago, I opened my own company and growing all the time. And so having fun with that. So I now own Remington Properties. That's
properties in the greater Houston area. So before we go into our topic, yes, I know Debbie's team is growing. If anyone is interested in a brokerage, we're going to, of course, as usual, post this on our YouTube channel, Tada by Kat. And of course, it will be on Facebook as well. So her information will be there. We'll also leave it, verbally today if you'd like to contact her about that. So Debbie, thank you so much for that. Let's get right into the topic of what does a coming soon sign really mean? So share with us.
Yeah, the National Association of Realtors started regulating our listings and our ability and our ability to market without exposing it to the public, and said that it wasn't right for the consumer for us to be holding our listings and not making them available to everybody. So
is that what they call, Debbie, a pocket listing? Is that
correct?
Okay.
Yes, that's a pocket listing. And some people were putting out coming soon signs for weeks, for months, and not making them available. And it was a detriment to the seller and to that buyer who deserves their own representation. So all the local associations and state authorities came up with their own interpretation of how they wanted to apply the National Association of Realtors new mandate that we must, if we are going to advertise, we must make it available to all consumers. So here in the Houston area, we have a new status in MLS. Can't see it, but we as agents can see it. And so when someone posts on Facebook or puts a coming soon sign out in a yard, they must also make that available to all other realtors who are members of the MLS. Now, we do have realtors who are not members of MLS, and they will not be able to access the information.
Right.
But if you are working with a realtor who is a member of MLS and you see a coming soon sign, you immediately can call your realtor and say, I drove by this house at 135 Smith Street and it has a coming soon sign. And your realtor should be able to access MLS and get all the information that's available at that time. Now, a lot of times this is being done because they need to get the carpets cleaned, or they're waiting for the photographer, or they're waiting for an excellent stager like Tada by Kat. And so they might not have the pictures there, but they'll have the basic information. So your realtor can send you whatever is available in MLS at the time. And that is, we are only allowed to sit in that status for 14 days. So from the day you put a coming soon sign out in a yard, or the day you do a Facebook ad, or anything, even if you just take some pictures and put them on Facebook as a realtor, if you do that, you must have it as a coming soon in MLS. Now, we are limited to 14 days at that. So
Debbie, let me just get clarification on that. So let's say a realtor, just has an exterior picture, or, maybe it's being remodeled, an interior picture, and they post it on Instagram or Facebook coming soon, but they do not put it in the multiple listing service. That's against regulations. Is that correct?
That's an MLS violation.
Okay.
And if you see one of those, you're following 5 realtors on Instagram, and one of them posts a picture and you think, oh, that's great. And you call your realtor and say, I'd like to see this property, and your realtor can't find it. Your realtor can actually contact MLS at HAR, the Houston Association of Realtors, and say, my client wants to see this property, and they saw it on Instagram on so-and-so's Instagram page. And MLS will immediately contact that realtor and, say, do you have a listing here? And they will make them put it in MLS as a coming soon status. And even as realtors, not everybody is understanding the policy yet. It's a new policy.
Brand new policy.
So sometimes it just takes someone to contact that realtor and say, hey, you can't put it out for the public unless you make it available to your fellow realtors.
Right. And let's emphasize, that's the best mode is, just contact the realtor and ask them. So I want to piggyback on that, Debbie, because I recently here in the Woodlands had the opportunity to list and stage. It was a renovation referral. As you know, I only sell real estate by referral, as staging is my main business. But I had the blessing and opportunity to have this referred to me in the Woodlands. And we did I believe it was in effect, the new guideline. And so it was put as coming soon. What is your feeling, or is there logistics or rulings on, realtors wanting to get a jump start basically and to see it? I'm going to listen to your answer, and then I'm going to tell you how I handled it as a professional stager, number one. But how would you handle, or are there any regulations governing, giving an upper hand, is what I call it, to sneak preview before it's ready?
It's you really should make it available to be shown to all realtors at the same time. If someone contacts you on the coming soon, and it's your listing, you can tell them we're waiting to have it staged, or we're waiting for the
right.
There's new carpet being laid, or whatever.
Yes.
And then say, we plan to start showings on this day. Call back then, call for an appointment then, to make it available to all consumers at the same time.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that realtor calling and asking you for when that's going to happen. Now, there are no regulations on this. It's really when you, the listing agent, and the seller are ready to show it.
Okay, perfect. And that's basically how, because we were, staging it, doing a very, extensive walkthrough video for it, et cetera. And, back to that, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Of course, as a master stager, I know that all too well. But I'm going to just piggyback on that a little bit. A strategy. I believe it's a good strategy, and I have told clients this, that coming soon will get a pent up excitement, whether you're blasting on LinkedIn, Facebook, a sign, because a lot of folks, they want to choose their neighbors. So those people in the neighborhood driving around, they see it coming soon. They go, oh my gosh, my Aunt Bertha wants to move in this neighborhood. So now you've got her. I mean, we did this, and we had an open house with 25 people and 3 offers by doing this. Yeah, I mean, it was a great home, staged beautifully, renovated beautifully, single story, great lot. It had all the stars lined up for this. But it is a strategy for you realtors out there that you can communicate that. Not just do it, but communicate it. People don't know what you don't tell them. Right. One of your marketing strategies is to put out a coming soon sign. And let me tell you how that benefits you, Mr. Seller. We're going to create a buying frenzy. Depending on what price range you're in, we can potentially create a buying frenzy, multiple offers. People are chomping at the bit. They want what they can't have or what they can't see. So it is a realistic and doable thing, because you are preparing the home, but it's also a marketing strategy. Would you agree with that, Debbie?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I often put them out just for that reason. Just as a realtor, I have to make sure that I'm really going to go live in 14 days or less.
Yes.
But I do it a lot. I have a lot of coming soon riders that I put out, and I get a lot of phone calls. And it's right now, it's, where our market is a seller's market. And so those buyers are driving the areas they like. Realtors are looking. I have agents in my office who they'll say, hey, has anybody seen anything in coming soon in this area? And sometimes realtors will pull the neighborhood. If a buyer wants a neighborhood, they'll pull the neighborhood and look for anything in the coming soon status and try and jump on it right away. It's a very competitive market for buyers. So, sellers who do that are smart.
Yeah. Great strategy. And I really think in no matter what price range, right?
Oh, definitely.
We're seeing a buyer's market, but I'll tell you, my phone hasn't stopped ringing for properties, typically in the higher, and we specialize in luxury. We do flip low end, but, we're still getting calls, because people are looking at it as a seller's market. So there's more competition out there. I think there's been a lot of pent up buying and selling because of the whole lockdown pandemic. Oh, there you go.
All right.
So yeah, coming soon is fabulous. Before we move on to the next topic, and that's the value of working with a full-time agent, Is there anything else to wrap that up, or did we pretty much cover that coming soon?
No, I think that covers it. I think it's a pretty simplistic process. I think it's great for the consumer. It helps the seller get the maximum exposure, and it also makes it more fair for the buyers. So I think it's a great policy the National Association of Realtors has put into place for all consumers.
Yes, yes, because they realize that it takes time to prepare your home to be in its best light for to receive top dollar. So yeah, absolutely wonderful. So let's go on to topic 2. Thank you so much for that, Debbie. As Debbie and I talked about, this parlays into really my business, really any business. If you're a solopreneur or entrepreneur out there, ideally you revere yourself, as bringing the best to your clients. And I truly believe that you can't bring the best to your clients if you're doing multiple, if you have too many, maybe a full-time job and then you're trying to sell. I'm not saying that can't happen. And for those of you who are part-time realtors, this is really just to educate the buyer, because everybody has different touch points and hot points and things that are valuable to them. We know there's, a bazillion realtors out there, and everybody knows a realtor. Everybody has a relative that's a realtor. So there's just various reasons that there's going to be a match, a perfect match. And, that's for any business. But go ahead. I'm going to give you the floor, Debbie. Share with us what you feel are the benefits of using a realtor that is full-time.
Okay. And let me also say that in my career, I have been full-time and I have been part-time. And I have agents in my office who are full-time and who are part-time.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't mean that any of them are better or any worse than any others. There's no superior, but there are benefits to working with a realtor who makes it their full-time career.
Right.
And one of the key things is that they're more flexible on their time. They can work showings more in the buyer's time frame. They can meet with sellers at a time that's more convenient. And in this competitive market, with buyers getting into multiple offers or waiting a day to be able to see a house, it is an advantage for them to have a realtor who will be able to show them immediately as soon as a house becomes available. Because I had clients who they called a friend for a referral. They had a realtor and they called their friend for a referral because it took them 36 hours to reach their other realtor to go view a house that they saw come on the market. And in that time it had sold.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Time is of essence. And, I had an experience back in Southern California when I first got my real estate license, where I was trying to navigate and negotiate through the finance, which is a huge piece of a transaction, to, being successfully closed and funded. And I remember being so frustrated when I'm, trying to get an answer about this transaction, and it had to do with the finances, but she had the answer. And, she was a school teacher, not putting down school teacher, but I couldn't get a hold of her. She was like on the playground all the time. And have her phone back then. I don't even know if they had cell phones. We're talking 20 some years ago, probably not. But the communication is critical, which is what you're talking about, and the availability to get those homes when they come first on the market. So flexibility and time, absolutely, you have an advantage working with a full-time agent who.
Yeah, and just things like negotiations, you're going to be able to reach that other agent to negotiate in a timely fashion.
Right.
Just the time element is a big key in that. Now, if you're not in a hurry and, the product you're looking for is easily available, then, you may be great working with your aunt who only can work on Tuesdays because that's her day off from her other job. That may be fine. But for many people, having that person who's dedicating full time is important as far as the availability.
You know what? I'm going to give you a real life experience. This is a property that we actually staged. They were going to go FISBO. I encouraged him not to do that. You know, beautiful property and staged beautifully, very unique property. So he did very smartly decide to go with a realtor, which was his, I believe, sister.
Mm-hmm.
So the property hasn't sold yet. You know, we're talking about renewing his staging, you know, because, you know, it's a huge open concept plan, which is the most difficult, the most desirable, but the most difficult for people to imagine when they walk in.
Right.
So he is, I believe, going to make a change to a realtor that has actually sold in the area, et cetera. And I gave him, you know, the idea. I said, what you can do in that case is, so it's a win-win, because his sister is brand new. In fact, I think it was her first transaction. So, you know, he was trying to, you know, do the relative thing, you know, but he still needs to sell this property, right? He's got money invested in rehab, et cetera. So what I suggested is that he, you know, have her refer to the new realtor,
Right.
because number one, she was doing it for a ridiculously reduced, something like 1%. So I said, client, I'm not going to say his name. I did the math. I said, she, as a referral at 3%, is going to get about $200 less than what she was going to get paid full to do the transaction. So it's a win-win. Have her refer to the seasoned agent as a referral, and she, you know, will do everything. And let her cut her teeth on the next transaction. She'll at least walk away with, you know, almost a couple $1,000s for just referring it out. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a win-win
Right.
situation on referring. You know,
Yeah.
I myself, I don't work with buyers. I don't have the time to drive people around and search for property. So I refer, as you know, I refer when I come across buyers to an outside agent. But would you agree, Debbie? That's a great way to.
That's a great solution.
And also, you know, I've been in staged properties. This was for a builder a couple of years ago, and I actually did get this listing from this lady. That's when I was pursuing real estate. She saw my staging, and she's like, "Yeah, I think I'm going to have, you know, my relative." And you know, sometimes it's you know, if you want to still be talking to your relative, because they need to be able to be honest with you, fire you, you know, whatever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sometimes it's just easier to go, you know, let's refer. And then it's a win-win. They don't, you know, it takes the sting out of, you know, saying I'm not going to use you. What has your experience been, you know, in that arena, in the whole referral web?
It's great. I mean, I think that's a wonderful option. That way the family member still gets, you know, something. And also, you know, because they can also talk to the seller who's their family member and find out, you know, learn a little bit, especially if they're new, like this person was, learn a little bit about the process. So, you know, so no, I think
there's a lot of moving parts and pieces, as we both know. You know, real estate is a complicated transaction.
Very
successfully. There's just a lot of things that you need to really negotiate. Some people think it's just price. There's way more than that you need to negotiate. And you know, when you're talking about typically the highest you know, the largest purchase or sale you're going to make in your lifetime, you know, you want that taken care of professionally, and, you know, have top-notch negotiators, et cetera.
right.
You know, it's not just get your license and what do they used to say? The 3 Ps. Keller Williams would say, put a sign out, put it in MLS, and pray someone sells it. Diane Kakowski. I think it's a little more than that, right?
A little bit, yes. It's a lot more than that.
A lot more than that. So, what's another benefit? We've talked about, you know, communication and availability.
Yeah.
That's
so
experience,
often,
of course, experience.
Yeah. And oftentimes, they have more tools. If they're doing it full time, they have more tools available to them. They've invested more into into making this a good process for the consumer. One of the things that I think is key, and more part-time agents don't do it as much, is the blue lock boxes that people see on houses. Those are much more secure than a combination lockbox. We can read who's coming and going. We can trigger it so that we get an email or a text when another agent enters a house and when they leave a house, therefore letting our clients know that, oh, that agent just arrived, they're 45 minutes late, don't go home from work yet. They just write, okay, they've left now, you can go home. We have access. So these are, and that's just one of the many tools. But
I want to elaborate on that a little bit, because I think a lot of consumers, sellers don't really realize that. It's like, okay, give me a key, we put a lock on it. So I want to emphasize that what we're talking about. I have one in my car. It's an electronic box. It's not cheap. It's about $100 for you have.
Oh, I think it's about 130 now.
Is it 130? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but this is top security for people entering your home. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As Debbie says, when there's a request for a showing, okay, once you accept it as the realtor, you get an email and you have all of the information of the broker, etc. Now, what I personally do is, once I see I will reach out. I'll send a text and reach out to the parties that are going to show the property if there's any additional information, just really to connect, to make sure they show up, because darn it, sometimes they don't, which is
it happens.
Yeah. It happens. It's happened to me. Actually, when I listed a family that had kids, they had to pack up, relative family, no less.
Mm-hmm.
And it's extremely rude, but so you can be proactive to help circumvent that. To create a showing and request a showing, have it accepted, and then go, oh, well, I got tied up over in some new home sales or this. That's just unacceptable. You don't realize that you had a family pack up their dogs and their 3 little ones and then not show up. But with this super access, you know how long they're in the house. So you can speculate, wow, they were in there for over an hour. I think that's a pretty interested prospect. Good realtor's probably going to reach out to that realtor and say, are you guys ready to make an offer? What did your clients think? I see you spent quite a bit of time in there. The average showing is, I want to say 4 minutes, Debbie. Is that changed? I
think it's a little longer than that. I think it's a little longer than that. Of course, it depends on the size of the property too.
It depends on the size of property, of course, but it's not an hour. So
no.
Information is power. We've all heard that terminology, and this little box is an investment, again, that your full-time agent is more than likely going to have super boxes everywhere, not combo. So the opposite of that is just a little combo box where you get no information. You have zero information.
Sadly, realtors can give the combination to their clients to go into a vacant property.
Oh my gosh, you just made my skin tingle. I've heard people do that. It is against MLS or hard rules. It's totally against, but how scary is that? So I'm glad you brought up this topic, Debbie, because, again, we're here to educate consumers, realtors, et cetera. And I'm not here to criticize realtors if they don't have those. But, move towards that. Try to strive towards that. Invest in your business. You're making thousands of dollars on these deals. Secure your sellers. And you know what? Right. Just another way that you can say in your presentation, Mr. Seller, here's some of the strategic marketing and security tools that I utilize that sets me apart. You will not have a combo box. You will have a professional staging consultation. Got to plug that one in there, right? These are, because that is the most measurable marketing that you can do to sell a property. And safety is, if it's not at top of mind, it's behind their mind. So you need to bring it up and create that warm and fuzzy feeling. So, I would work towards that if you don't have it, but it's something, again, that can elevate you in the eyes of the potential sellers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just the full-time realtor tends to have more tools because they've invested in the tools. And the Superbox is just one of those things. So that's just something that a full-time agent tends to do more than a part-time agent.
Right. And it's not
Um,
that a part-time agent, again, we're not here to to draw lines. Part-time agent,
no,
they may do it just on weekends and that's all they have is Supra. But
yeah.
definitely whether you're part or full, something that, definitely you want to strive for,
Yeah.
I believe, is the
And
security.
and just the person who does it full-time usually invests in more tools,
Mhm.
not just the super boxes, but other tools too, because
Tools,
this is,
training. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So the other thing that a full-time realtor may have, they may do, if this is something they're focused on doing, they tend to have more in-person trainings because they've been available to go to title companies or have trainings in their office. If you're working part-time and you're doing another job, you're not able to attend a lot of that. And as we all know, in-person training is much more informational than online. We all have the same requirements as far as what we're required to have every 2 years, but having the flexibility in the in person to classes like I've taken from you, where I learn so much more by sitting there with you and being able to interact than if I was taking a class online.
So Debbie, are you talking Zoom or actually in person? Are they with the
Well,
COVID
both.
doing
Well,
in
both.
person now? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because very often, and of course, this is a little different market with COVID, but
Right.
very often the offices or a brokerage or a title company or a lender will offer in-person classes during the day. They're not offering them at night, and they might be Zoom or they might be in person, but the agent who's doing this part-time is working their other job and then they're taking their extended education required classes. They're taking them, online. They're taking them, just the mandatory. They're usually not, they don't have as much time to get the fluff education
The training.
and the in-person education.
And
So,
I know Debbie believes in training because Debbie and I first met a continuing education class that I taught on staging, right?
yeah, that's right. That's right.
So,
So,
and we've done Pick Cat's Brain on Zoom since COVID, and you and I need to talk soon about when I can come out and
yeah,
see your new group,
yeah.
share some more nuggets with you. Okay, so let's move right into our final topic, and that is the benefits. This is close to my heart, coming from over a decade and working in new home sales. The benefits of using a realtor to buy a new home. Many of you I know because I hear it today, and I've heard it in the past. What? I can use you as a real. Why would I? That's the biggest question. Why do I need you to buy a new home? They have sales counselors, sales managers right in the office. Why would I want to use you? Let's talk about that, Debbie.
Okay. Well, most of the sales counselors are wonderful people, and they're very service oriented, and they want to do a great job. But the basic thing we must all remember is that sales counselor works for the builder.
Works for the bill.
They work for the builder. Every consumer, every buyer deserves to have representation of someone in their court who can benefit or can represent their best interests. And like I said, the salespeople are great. They're usually very people oriented. They're wonderful, wonderful people. But if it comes to, I thought you said there were going to be sconces on the wall in the media room. Oh, no, I don't think so. Whereas if you've had an agent sitting with you through the whole process, the agent can then go to the salesperson and say, you said there were going to be sconces on the wall in the media room, which is exactly what I had one time with buyers a few years ago. And we got those sconces put on the wall in the media room, the dimmable sconces, because I was there, it was in my notes, and I said, no, they're not going to close without the sconces. Well, that consumer, had I not been there, probably to this day still would not have the sconces in their media room because nobody was there to represent them. To say that anybody did anything underhanded, but It was just, you deserve that representation. And what consumers must understand is it's not going to affect the bottom line of their house. That house is going to sell for what it sells for. Having that builder pay a real estate commission is not going to change the bottom line on their house. That's a whole different thing.
So let me reiterate that, because many folks don't believe this. Well, who pays? Some people think when you use a buyer's agent, you don't pay. The seller pays for your buyer's agent, for someone to find properties. And by the way, they don't get paid anything until you buy a home. So if you just use them to show you properties and find you properties, they're working for nothing. So please be loyal to your realtors who show you properties that are working for you. So the same as a builder. Okay. As a sales manager, sales counselor, I got paid by the builder. Yes. I also got paid for sales, but I was not paid I have you may have heard this in real estate, a fiduciary relationship to my builder. So what does that mean? That means I'm not going to tell you, if you, I happen to know this builder closes their books on this date of the month. If you put an offer on this inventory home by this time and ask for additional discounts or lower price, they're more than likely to take it because they need to close their books out. I'm not going to tell you that. I have a fiduciary relationship with the builder. However, if you work with a seasoned real estate agent who's savvy to the different closing times, et cetera, of the builders, they can educate you on that. They can negotiate for you and ask for things. Even if it's an inventory home, they can negotiate. I don't want to tick off any builders out there either, but they can negotiate for you things that you would never dream that you could get. And it's not just incentives or sconces. Okay.
And that leads into another thing, is that the agent has access to MLS and other sales. So if the builder could be saying, oh, well, yeah, we had a price increase because the lumber went up or whatever. And if the realtor can pull the sales and say, okay, yes, I understand lumber went up a couple of months ago, but you still sold this house 2 weeks ago at this price. So you gave that consumer that price. So I want my buyer to have that price. So
exactly.
They have access to the sales.
They have access to the numbers. And so we used to have in new home sales something, we would call them dinosaurs. Okay. Those are the ones they really needed to have staged. So it's an odd floor plan, or maybe it has an electrical thing that somebody doesn't like or whatever. It just means it's going to have a birthday. It's a dinosaur. It's old. Okay. You as a consumer, you coming in there by yourself, the sales counselor isn't going to tell you that, oh, this has been sitting on the ground forever. We would love to get rid of this. Okay. So information is power. I'm going to repeat that. Your realtor has information accessible to them and can leverage those sorts of things for your advantage, for a better price, for better incentives, for more upgrades, et cetera. Okay. I've seen it time and time again, working 10 years in new home sales. That's how it works. So I would encourage anyone who's looking, for a new home, again, whether it's inventory or building it from the ground up, to use a realtor. You don't pay anything. The builder pays.
No, they don't pay anything.
Now, let me tell you a little insight again, because I had this happen in my career where somebody would come and say, well, you know what? I don't need a realtor. So how about give me that 3% or whatever the percentage, like give me the 3% in discounts. What do you think I said there? No. Quite honestly, it doesn't matter whether you use a realtor or not. If you feel more comfortable, you can use a realtor. That money comes out of our marketing. And what would have happened if I would have said, oh, sure, you can do that. Guess what? Builders' business is about 75 to 80% realtor driven, realtor representative. I would have blackballed myself from the entire, and my company from the entire realtor community. Oh my God, Kat Trolino.
They do it.
Oh, they do it. But
on their Facebook pages, they talk all the time about the builders who are not being good realtors. Yes.
I don't know how, they're not in it for the long haul, obviously, don't care about their reputation because, you're cutting up, you're shooting your foot to do that because, realtors aren't going to bring clients out to those communities who are trying to skate them out of the deal. So it's just not ethical. Yeah, it's just not ethical. You deserve representation and just know.
Well, and like you just mentioned, the realtor's commission comes out of the marketing budget. It doesn't come out of the building budget.
Exactly.
And this is what people think they're going to get a lower price on the house by not having a realtor, and they're not. And sometimes that 3% isn't that great a deal. Sometimes the builder, if you get that realtor and they look at what the houses are selling for in that neighborhood, they may find the builders consistently underpricing, giving discounts of 5 to 8%. So you got yourself a 3%. You thought you were really smart because you got yourself a 3%, but the person with the realtor got 5% and the realtor got paid.
Right.
So that's why
exactly.
you need that knowledgeable person who has access to the information.
Exactly.
So,
and then one final note on that is it's been my experience in the builder world, working for a couple builders, that don't just look for discounts. It is more acceptable, I would say, for a builder to give you stuff as opposed to a discount. And the reason is obvious. Okay. If you want, appliances, or you want some different flooring or whatever, there's markup. So what was 10 grand only cost them 4 or 5. Let's just throw an example out there, as opposed to hard, cold discount off the home. So just, again, that's all part of negotiating. Think about, what upgrades can I get as opposed to a discount that's going to work to your advantage just because of the buying power of the builder.
Yeah. And I had that happen recently with a builder, and they were saying, I said, well, my buyer really wants to pay this. And they said, and it was a very good point. We can't sell the house for that because all the other people who paid more for the house will get mad that your buyer got it for less. But we'll give you blinds, a washer, a dryer, and a fridge. So my buyer was like, well, I can sell my washer and dryer and fridge. I'll have brand new. So I was going to get blinds anyway. That saves me money. So my buyer was very happy, but that builder still had to hold a reputation with the other people who'd already bought houses, that same floor plan. So he couldn't discount it as much. But by me sitting there and saying, this is what my buyer wants to do, and negotiating, my buyer ended up getting washer, dryer, fridge, and blinds for the house. So
sure, it made it a win-win situation.
Yes.
When I was with a smaller builder many, many years ago, when I first started, it was like they had different promos all the time. So that wouldn't hold weight. It really doesn't matter what they bought 3 months ago, you're buying today. It's a different promo and it's a different day. But great negotiating, that's how you make it, you make it a win-win, because they do have the leverage and the wherewithal and the resources to do that, because what looks like 10,000 probably cost them 4, or 3,
Yeah.
and your client would have had to go out and pay the full 10. So it's good for everybody. Well, this has been a great segment. I've been dying to use my little button here. So if you're looking to buy a new home, whether it's to build it from the ground up or inventory, don't not use a realtor. Don't not use a realtor. They can help you immensely. Thank you so much, Debbie, for being my guest.
Welcome.
It's been awesome. Great information. Please, whoever's watching this, and you'll be watching it on the flip side, strolling and scrolling, please share it. Like it, ask a comment, but share it for folks who, have a need to know. And we're going to do the same. You can find this on our YouTube channel at Tada, TADABYKAT. In about 48 hours, all of our episodes are uploaded to the YouTube channel. And we want to, again, impress upon you, have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Christmas is coming soon. Too soon. Be positive, stay hopeful, and stay connected. And we thank you for connecting with Debbie and I today. And just go out and pay it forward with positivity and have a super, super safe, wonderful, joyful weekend. Namaste to all. Bye, Debbie.
Bye.